Hi all, welcome back to part 3 on this short series on modeling using Unreal Engine's extrude polygon. I'm going to start out this part just like we did the last time and create a duplicate static mesh for us to use. I just want to make sure that I have a backup model each time as I go. It's not a bad practice. With Fab Cat selected in the content drawer, hit Ctrl-T to duplicate it. Let's go ahead and change the name on this one to Fab Cat. Will it be fabulous? Well, I wouldn't go that far, but we'll give it a little more shape. Go ahead and delete Fat Cat from the outliner and drag the new copy of Fab Cat into the viewport instead. Let's go ahead and stand him back up to work on again by changing the X rotation to 90 degrees and planting it back on the floor by holding Function and pressing End. Go back into modeling mode and into the Model tab and select Polygroup Edit again. In the selection filters, change it to only select edge loops. I'm going to give the tail some better shape by selecting each edge and scaling it in. Once you select an edge, in the very center, you'll see a really tiny little square black box. This is our scaling box. Hold down left click and click on this box and drag your mouse to scale in and out as needed. I'm going to click on the edge starting at the top of the tail and work my way to the tip of the tail, gradually scaling it in as I go. Adjust your viewport as needed to see the bottom of the tail and work my way from the tip of the bottom to the bottom inside. Don't worry, it doesn't need to be exact. Just eyeball it as you go. It's really easy to end up not clicking on the very small black box. If at any point you accidentally move your edge, you can just hit Control Z to undo your last move and continue on. You'll see me do it a couple of times in the video. I'm going to call that good for the tail. Play around as much as you like, though. This whole part of the project is more up to the specific look that you want to achieve. When you're happy with the shape of your tail, go ahead and accept the changes and save your work. Going back into Polygroup Edit, let's move on to the head and give it a little more shape to the ears and some simple face features. In the Shape Edits section, select Insert Edge Loop. I'm going to insert one edge loop at the top of the head to give us just a few more vertices to work with around the ears. Click once to make the loop, then click Done. In the selection filter this time, let's set it to only vertices. Pull each of the ear vertices we just created into a more centered position on the top of the head. just to give the ears a little bit of a sloping angle. I'm going to go ahead and pull the back two vertices at the bottom of the ear also a little more centered onto the head. Change back your filter to select just edges instead. This time, the single edge selector is fine. We don't need the whole edge loop. Just like we did before on the tail though, select the edge at the top of the ear and scale them down to create more of a point. Continue with any adjustments that you want until you're happy with the shape of the ears, scaling edges up or down or dragging points as needed. Once you're happy with the ears, click on Accept to confirm your changes and save your work. Let's go back into the poly group edit again, and let's work on the face now. Just like we did on the tail, select each edge on the head and scale them up or down to give the face some more shape. Once you're satisfied with the shape, go ahead and accept and save your changes. I think this guy could use a little bit better nose. Change your selection filter to faces and grab a couple of the front faces at the tip of the face. Once selected, hit extrude. Without changing any of the extrude settings this time, you just slide your mouse in or out until you find a place just sticking out far enough to give the nose just a little bit more definition. Click in the viewport to set the distance. Let's insert a few more edges to create a space for the eyes. I'm not going to get too detailed with this. I'm just going to add a few edges to create a recess where I can add some spheres. Using the Insert Edge option, draw some more edges into place. Again, this part's more up to the look that you're going for. I cut some simple triangles, which ended up kind of giving it like a robot cat look. But make as many cuts as you want. Once you're done making your new edges, go ahead and select all the new faces that it created and hit extrude. This time, instead of extruding them out, I'm going to pull them back into the model to create some eye sockets. Click on Accept and save your project. Now for some simple eyes. Go into the Create tab and select Sphere. Drag your sphere roughly into place on the face of your model. Then adjust the radius size of the sphere to fit into the eye socket and use the gizmo to position it fully into place where you want it. I'm also going to reduce the subdivisions on the sphere. We just aren't going to need that much detail on this. I'm going to go ahead and reduce them by half. Click Accept and save your changes. With your sphere selected, hit Ctrl-T to duplicate it and slide the newly created second sphere into the other eye socket and save all your changes. To make this one complete model again, because right now it's 3, with Fab Cat and 2 separate spheres, we're going to join them back up. To join the eyes to their main model, first select Fab Cat, then hold down Shift and left click on each sphere so that we have all 3 selected in the outliner. Go to the Mesh tab this time and click on Union. In the Output Object settings, change the Right To drop-down to First Input Selected. Click Accept and save your project. I'm going to do one last thing to smooth Fab Cat out, and that is to subdivide the entire model. Back in the Model tab, click on Subdivide. There are a couple of different subdivision schemes in the drop-down, but the only one I've had produce what I expected for results is the loop option. So I've changed the scheme setting to loop. Changing the subdivision level will give you more or less smoothing results. You can see when I go down to 2, it gets a little bit boxy looking again. I'm going to put it back up to the default value of 3 and accept and save my changes. Actually, we do need to still make one more adjustment to Fab Cat, and that is to scale him down to size. Let's go ahead and drag out a copy of Manny from the content drawer for use as a size reference. Oh no, Manny better look out. In the Details panel in the Transform section, make sure to lock the scaling so it scales in all directions for us. Left click and hold inside any of the X, Y, or Z value boxes to drag your scale up or down as needed. Looks to me like a value of around 0.1, somewhere in there is going to be about right. So I'm going to change the scale to exactly that in this case. That way, if I need to know the value later, it's a nice easy round number. Go ahead and save all your changes. Down the road, it'll be better to work with a finished model that has a scale value of 1. So I'm going to bake in the scaling that we just did. In modeling mode, go to the Transform tab, which is actually Xform, and with Fab Cat still selected, click on Bake Transform. Leave everything set to the defaults and click Accept. You'll see now in the details panel that the scale of Fab Cat is now back to 1. We've made him whole again. But Fab Cat is now and forever scaled down to this little teeny tiny fur baby. And that's going to be it for part 3. Sorry this one ran a little bit longer, but it's also where you can let your own creativity shine through. Maybe your Fab Cat will have a crooked little ear or something special like that. I hope you found this short video series helpful and enjoyed the content. Hopefully I introduced you to some features of Unreal you hadn't been using yet and taught you something. If any would like to see a repeat series of a different subject model, drop a comment and I'll see what I can do. Maybe next time I'll try to do a horse, or maybe a house, or, well, I don't know. You get the idea. I think that this could be used to pretty much model almost anything that you needed for in your game or in whatever project you're working on. If you're interested in coloring the model, please watch the little bonus part 4 video. It's nothing fancy. It's not going to turn out to be any kind of work of art, but I think there's a lot of people out there that might be struggling with how to change basic colors of a model. So I thought I would do just a little quick add-on for that. Again, thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe, or leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Hope to see you in part 4. Goodbye.